Hi, and welcome to Simply Happy Conversations. I'm Narelle King, and in today's solo episode, I'll be sharing things I do to help me bounce out of bed each day. I had Amanda Ewan on the episode last week, and I thought it'd be nice to have a follow-up sharing what I do. So if you're wanting ideas to help you bounce out of bed, then this episode is for you. Welcome to Simply Happy Conversations. I'm Narelle King, wellness and organisational coach and yin and nidra yoga instructor. This podcast will help you create more time using organisational strategies so that you can start to simplify your life and prioritise your health. I'll be sharing conversations with other health and organisational experts and solo episodes with tips to help you simplify your life and prioritise your health. Thanks for joining me for today's solo episode. I thought I'd share a little bit about the things that I do to bounce out of bed. And this wasn't always the case. And I know last week in the episode that Amanda Ewan talks a little bit about how she bounces out of bed and how she helps clients to do this as well. It didn't always be like this for me. If I go back about 9 years ago when we moved to Geelong, we'd moved from Melbourne where we knew lots of people and I had routines, and we moved here where we knew a few people because I'd gone to school here, but they were at different stages of life. I had small children, they had sort of school-aged and even older, and I was also working part-time as a PE teacher in a job with two small children. I had the routines, and it was like a play group on a Monday, the gym and story time on a Wednesday, and I worked on a Tuesday and Thursday initially. And Friday, I would see people that I'd met in the area, my parents because they live in the area, and also my sister who also had a young child. So having those routines each day in my week and gave me structure and gave me things to look forward to. I also was really into cooking, and back then I had a Thermo Chef, so it's a cheaper version of a Thermomix. And I really got into whole foods, in particular because both kids had some food allergies back then. And I really enjoyed creating things from scratch. It definitely helped my own sensitivities to food as well and sort of changed the way that we were eating. I also had exercise classes that I attended weekly. So I would take my kids on a Wednesday to a gym that had a creche, and I would do sort of like a HIIT class. I also went to a regular Sunday yoga session, and I did a Zumba class and a couple of other HIIT classes. So that gave me that structure and routine that I needed. I really thrive when I am being able to exercise every day. But the part of my life which was really bringing me down was my work. So I was not really enjoying teaching. I'd been teaching PE for maybe 15 to 18 years at that stage, and I just felt like I needed something else. I knew PE teaching like the back of my hand, and that is when I enrolled in wellness coaching. And I started Simply Happy, and that was 7.5 years ago. I've also done a little bit of career coaching at that stage, and even a little bit later in my life with Nikki Smith, a career psychologist, and that really helped give me direction so that I could find what I was really passionate about and be able to bring that into my life. I know that just having that time in your life when you have kids and you move away from your regular job and you maybe go back but just part-time, it really gives you that time to reflect and insight into whether you need to make a change in the career direction you're going. I'm really grateful for having that time in my life to be able to do that and realize actually maybe it's not teaching that I want to be doing for the rest of my life. So then fast forward to now, and having a purpose and a job I love going to every day has really changed that bouncing out of bed for me each day. So other things that help me to bounce out of bed, which helped 9 years ago and still help today, is having routines. So I really need to have myself prepared the night before. And that's things like I look at my calendar, what clients I have that day. I'll pack the car for the next day. So if I need containers, I'll have that all ready to take to that client and in my car. I'll also make sure that I have a salad and protein ready to go in a lunchbox that I'll take for the next day, and I'll pack that in the morning, but I will have had the salad prepared the night before. That usually does a couple of days in a row. And I will also have all my exercise gear and the clothes I'm going to need for that day set out. I also have a night ritual. So this isn't at a set time, but it's roughly between sort of 8:30 and 10ish. Is I will do a meditation or a nidra yoga right before I'm about to go to sleep. I will read my book. I'll heat up a heat pack to have on my stomach. I'll have a shower possibly, not all the time, but sometimes I feel like a shower. I'll clean my face every night. I might have a essential oil roller bottle that I'll put lavender on my wrist and sometimes on the soles of my feet, or I might use magnesium on the soles of my feet depending on how tired I'm feeling. I just need to have a really good night's sleep so that I feel energized and motivated for the next day, for work, but also for my family to help us get ready in the morning. I have a really strict morning routine, and I exercise on Monday, Wednesday and Friday at a gym, and it's generally like an aerobic HIIT style class. On a Tuesday and Thursday, I will walk with a friend. Sometimes if we can't walk because of the weather, then I'll go to the gym instead. On a Sunday, I go to a yin yoga class that someone else takes. I love to do all of these activities around 6 a.m. So I usually get up sort of at 5:30 to start my day. So I'm an early bird. After I've finished my exercise, I'll generally have a high protein breakfast. So this might be eggs, or it may be oats soaked overnight, or a bircher muesli. It might be avocado and tomato on gluten-free bread, but I must have breakfast every day with a herbal tea. Otherwise, I just don't have the energy to get through the morning. So I also make sure that I do not check emails at all before I leave in the morning. Clients, if they want to contact me urgently, they'll text me because I don't check my emails. So having these rituals and routines in my life really helps me to bounce out of bed. I know what's going to happen. I have predictability, and my brain just feels so much calmer when I have those things happening. So other things that help me to bounce out of bed are having an amazing group of friends around me. So I have some amazing uni friends that I went to university with and did PE teaching who I still catch up with. We have a WhatsApp group and I love connecting with them and catching up with them regularly, maybe not physically, but at least online. And then I have a few school friends who I still keep in contact with and catch up. And then since I've moved to Geelong, I've made a group of friends here in Geelong. So something else that I've worked out over the last few years is that I actually need a little bit of uncertainty in my life. Now, this means that I really enjoy when last minute activity comes up, say on a weekend, when someone says, would you like to go for a walk, or would you like to go for a ride? And I've got nothing on that weekend and I can go, yeah, sure, I'd love to. I absolutely love that. And I find when I don't have enough uncertainty, that's when I'll get a bit grumpy and a bit snappy with people in my family. And that's when I'm like, oh, I need a little bit of uncertainty. And I'll plan something to do that day that's just a little bit different than we haven't done recently, like book to go to the movies just last minute. That's something that I've only worked out over the past few years that I actually need some uncertainty. The other things that help me to bounce out of bed is doing things that I love to do, such as being in nature. I really enjoy going for a walk down the beach, or even just being near the beach. So I mightn't even need to be walking, but at least seeing the beach, hearing the sound of the waves, or being in nature and being in the bush. So I'm happy to go for a walk in nature as well and just listening to birds. So I think I'm really tuned into the sounds of either the ocean or the birds, and that helps to ground me. I also really enjoy being creative, and that's things like gardening or organizing a space, so changing something around when I've got a little bit of time in my own house and trying out something new, or cooking. And the last thing that I need in my life that helps me to bounce out of bed is learning new things. I am always reading a book, whether it's a fiction when I'm on holidays or it's a non-fiction book, or I'm listening to podcasts when I'm driving in my car, or even when I'm doing something like housework or cooking and no one's around me, then I'll be listening and learning. These things really help me to bounce out of bed every day. I hope by sharing these ideas, you can consider things that you need to do in your life to help you bounce out of bed. I'd love for you to share on social media something that helps you bounce out of bed. Thanks for listening to Simply Happy Conversations. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Simply Happy Conversation. If you'd like to reduce your stress, improve your mood, and support your immune system, then join me for an introduction to Yin and Nidra Yoga. Over 5 short 10-minute online lessons, you'll start to feel calmer and more rested. Head to simplyhappy.com.au in the resources section and start today.